Reality Creation and Manifestation, Part 1. Which goal is right for you? This online course is a process in which you take one of your goals and run it through a template until manifestation. So we're going to start with choosing what goal is right for you. And I know there's a lot of techniques and methods of finding that which is right for you, but mine is very simple and intuitive. It's simply feeling it. That's really all there is to it. It's something you can feel when you close your eyes, and we're going to do that in a minute. But before we do that, I'd like to tell you that I've supported people in achieving their goals for the last 25 years, and achieving them is not really the problem, okay? One of the problems that always comes up is that they say to me, Fred, I've made it. I've made this dream come true. I've done that. And somehow, I expected more. I'm not that happy. I'm kind of bored. And they take this to mean that the goals they chose were not right for them. But it's not that way at all, okay? The way this works is that you choose a goal, and it's not about the achievement of the goal itself. It's all about the journey. I'm sure you've heard this before. It's all about who you become and how strong you become and all the things you learn on the journey. The achievement of the goal itself is nothing special. So goals are used more as a carrot stick to go on a certain path and to grow as a person. That's why it's important to have goals. Not for the goals themselves, but for who you become in the process. So if you achieve a goal and it doesn't feel that good to you, remember who you became on the journey. And also take that as an indicator that it is now time to choose the next goal, and then the next, and the next. Because you see, the universe is always expanding. It's always growing. And likewise, if you want to feel in the flow, you too should always expand and always grow. And that's why we set goals. That being said, there are some goals that I call ego goals, and there are goals that I call the soul's goals. Ego goals are not really connected with your true heart's desire when you look within. They're things society expects from you, things you think are good to have. And I have nothing against achieving so-called ego goals, okay? I'm not a moralist on this. I think you should have financial abundance, luxury, and be rich. But you'll see that after you achieve the so-called ego goals, after all that is covered, after your finances are covered, after you're secure, healthy, in the right relationship, and so forth, you're going to ask yourself, is there any more to life? And that's when your spiritual goals are going to come up. I'm just telling you so that you know, okay? There's deeper goals that you have, a deeper purpose in life. And you can either wait until you achieve all those superficial things, which is fine, or you can look more deeply within already today. Which path you take is up to you. I think there's a lot of merit to first taking care of your household, of the material plane, before, as you get older, going to higher planes. And that's the way it naturally is with most people. They go more to the spiritual as they grow older, but when they're in their 20s and 30s and 40s, they got all this energy and they want to use it for experiences on this plane, you know, for love and romance and sex and money and travel and adventure and so forth, and that's fine. Now, regarding feeling which goal is right for you, it's as simple as this. If I tell you to think of a city living in the city, and you think of that right now. And then I ask you to imagine living in the country, with its upsides and downsides. The upsides are peace, harmony, order, and the downside might be the smell of cows, you know, or the lack of activity. So imagine for a moment living in the inner city with all its upsides and downsides. Upsides is access to all kinds of people and goods and information. Downsides might be the noise or crime. And then imagine for a moment living in the country with all its upsides and downsides. The upside might be a sense of peace and order, and the downside might be the smell of cows. And then imagine living right at the beach with all its upsides and downsides. The upside is a beautiful lifestyle. The downside might be floods. And then imagine living in the mountains with all its upsides and downsides. The upside is a beautiful overview, beautiful oxygen. The downside might be too much snow, blocked roads. So you see what I'm saying. First of all, any goal you choose has an upside and a downside. But more importantly, as I went through this process, you could feel which of these places, mountain, beach, country, or city, feels the best to you. You could feel which of these places is best for you. Likewise, you can also feel which goal is best for you. And it's quite easy and spontaneous. You just got to do it. You just got to close your eyes, imagine, and feel within. It's rather straightforward and simple. So right now, why don't you write down 4 of your goals? You can put this program on pause as you do so. And then, just like we did with this previous exercise, why don't you look within and compare the goals? So you think of one goal on your list. Feel its upsides and downsides. And I don't want you to manipulate or filter this in any way. It has nothing to do with people's expectations or what you think is logical or reasonable or makes sense. I just want you to feel. Go to the second goal and just feel. That second goal too has upsides and downsides. And then simply think of the third goal. Stay with it for a couple of seconds until you start feeling it. There might be goals you feel nothing, and you can assume those goals are not right for you. I'll tell you why in a moment. And then you go to the fourth goal. And just think of it and see what you feel. Now, I teach that you should at least initially feel something. No matter if the goal makes sense or not, no matter whether it's logical or not, No matter whether it's going to make you money, you should feel a sense of joy, gratitude, happiness, elation. If you don't feel that, the goal is not really that good for you. You might achieve it, okay, and you might have some satisfaction and more strength in achieving that. So I've pursued many goals that are not right for me, and nonetheless I learned a lot in the process, and I grew stronger as a person. But ideally, you choose a goal that feels good from the onset. Now, it may not always feel good as you go through challenges in the years to come, but it should initially feel right. Because if it does, it's going to allow for more creativity, more self-expression, more responsibility. And if it allows for more creativity, responsibility, and self-expression, it allows you to grow as a soul. And that's your purpose for being here on earth, you see. So, whatever goal you've chosen, this is the goal you take through the process, through the reality creation and manifestation course. And I'd like you to keep it as simple as that. In this course, simplicity rules. I don't want you to make things complicated or overthink things. Just choose a goal and stick with it. Knowing exactly what you want and deciding for it is a huge chunk in actually achieving it. In fact, that's all I need. I don't need 1,000 processes. All I need is to know exactly what I want and then choose it, decide for it. And that already puts my compass on the path. See, if you adjust the compass of your ship just a little bit, you're going to end up thousands of miles far away from where you would have been if you hadn't made that adjustment. Knowing exactly what you want, again, will get you going. But you got to decide for it and say, okay, I'm committed to this in the assumption that it is achievable. Because if you don't decide, you're assuming it may not happen. And that's not what a reality creator does. A reality creator makes no such assumption. He assumes anything is possible, anything is achievable with the right mindset and the right heart. Another thing you can observe is that as long as you're not taking action, you haven't really decided. Action, taking action upon a goal, is the best indicator that you've actually decided, really decided. Okay, if you say, well, I've decided to take this trip, but you're not booking it, you haven't decided. Every decision you make is followed up, should be followed up within a very short time with specific actions that demonstrate that you've actually decided. That was which goal is right for you. Please proceed to the next segment, which is the power of imagination.